Hi everyone! Today I'm going to show you how to make this sushi-themed magic iris card using the Let's Roll stamp set from Fawn. So this is one of the older stamp sets. It was maybe released about 6 years ago, but I just happened to purchase it recently. I think it's so adorable, and I just thought it would make a perfect magic iris card. So to start, let's go ahead by coloring in our images. So I'm using Copic markers here, and I'm going to start by coloring in the little platter that is going to hold our little sushi feast. And I'm going to use some really nice bright bold browns here in the E20s. And I'm going to leave the center of the platter pretty light, as well as that little edging on the front, just to give the image a little bit of dimension. And then we can move on after that and start coloring in some of the other images. So we're going to color in the fortune cookie here, and I'm going to use some yellows for our fortune cookie. So we're going to have an intact fortune cookie, and then we're going to have one that's cracked open, and we're going to display the fortune on the inside of the magic iris cards, what makes this card pretty special, I think. For the shading, I'm going to use some YR27 and YR24, and then blend it towards the center with some Y23, and then add in my lightest color, the Y21 again in the very center. And I think this makes a real nice crispy cookie look. I think you could also use the E30s as well for the cookies. That coloring would work pretty well. Now we can move on to our actual sushi. So I'm going to color in the rice first. And to give the texture of rice, I'm just going to put some little dots with my warm gray marker, and I'm going to start with the darkest little flecks of rice with a W5, and then I'll use some W3 and then W1. I actually went back and watched the original introduction video for the Let's Roll stamp set by Fawn, and they did this little trick with the rice in that video. So I thought it would be fun to kind of duplicate that here. Now we're going to color in the little fish on top of our little sushi cake. I'm not a sushi eater, so I'm not sure what you call the little pieces there, but I guess it looks like it's a little shrimp or some kind of fish on top of the little pad of rice. And then we have these little sushi rolls on the bottom. And it was funny, I had posted a speed video of this on Instagram, and a bunch of people wrote in thinking that the little rolls on the bottom were rolls of toilet paper, until I colored them in and colored them in like sushi. And I think that's really funny. I guess we all just have toilet paper on our mind this week with the coronavirus and the kind of interesting thing that's happened with just toilet paper flying off the shelves. My sense of that, I think my take on that is that, you know, these are uncertain times. We are not sure what's going to happen or how inconvenienced or changed our lives are going to be. And, you know, we may have no control over the trajectory of this disease, but we can fill our homes with toilet paper. That's something we have control over. And you know what? If that makes people feel good, then go for it. You know, fill your garage with toilet paper if you need to. Well, actually, you shouldn't do that, because then that might mean that someone who needs just one roll won't get one, and that's not fair. So, but I think this toilet paper hoarding will pass, though. I think that, you know, this week is probably for us in the U.S. a big shock, as well as I think for some people in Western Europe outside of Italy, who's maybe about a week to 10 days ahead of us, where maybe they have been in crisis mode a little bit longer. But I think for us, it's just kind of starting to hit now. And, you know, we're just all coming to terms with things, just trying to figure out like what the new normal is going to be. You know, none of us know how long our lives are going to be disrupted by this. You know, we don't necessarily know what's going to happen to everyone that we know and all of our family and loved ones. But one thing is for sure, if we can all just stay in our houses as much as possible will make the outcome of this whole situation, much, much better. And I know that that is a luxury for some. There are some people who have jobs where they need to leave the house to do their jobs. Our healthcare professionals need to be out there helping patients. Anyone who's involved in supply chain needs to be involved in getting all the products that are going to keep us comfortable in our houses out there. But for those of us who can stay home, I hope that we do stay home just to help the number stay as low as possible. Okay, so sorry for that. I guess I had to get it out. I guess we're all kind of feeling the same. It felt a little bit, I was going to do this as a tutorial, just talking about the cards, but it's just, how can you not mention it right now? So, okay, now I guess I've got that all out. Now we can get back to the card. So this is the Magic Iris cover plate, and then as well as the wood grain cover plate that I used to just add some texture to the front of our card. And then I'm going to use the sentiment from the Let's Roll stamp set that says "Soy happy for you." And I'm just stamping it with some Versamark ink. And then I'm going to add some white embossing powder over that, and then heat set it with my heat gun. And now for the Magic Iris, I'm going to put it together. And I made an error here, and I'm going to show you the error that I made, and I'm going to show you how I fixed it. So this way, if you run into the same issue, you should be fine. So I've made so many Magic Irises in the past week, and I'm so used to making them when they're in that portrait format that I put this one together in that same format as well, not realizing that the pull tab is in a different spot. So the tab is going to need to be in a different spot. So actually, the way that I'm putting it together is right, but the way that I am going to stamp the fortune cookie, I didn't take into account where the pull tab was. So I'm going to have to disassemble this whole piece and then put it back together. But one positive thing is that it's pretty easy to fix errors that you make with this die set. I didn't have to go back and redo the whole thing. I just kind of pulled up the pull tab and put it where it needed to be, and that fixed it. So let's just go ahead and assemble it. So I'm just going to finish that up, and then I'm going to stamp the fortune cookie, and I'll show you what I did wrong. So now, do you see how the pull tab is in the upper right hand corner? That is the right placement if you are going to make an up and down or a portrait style card. But I am making a landscape card, which means that that pull tab should be in the upper left hand corner. So it should be like right to the side of the left of the fortune cookie. So the part of the fortune cookie that's closed. But instead I have the pull tab on the right side, and so it is not going to line up right with the card. But I'm going to show you how I fix that in a moment. And I'm just coloring in the background here with some blue green because that's going to match the inside of our card, and I just thought it looked nice to have a little bit of color around the fortune cookie. Okay, so this is when I realized that I had done something wrong, or perhaps not yet. I'm just going to add in some more blue-green on these edges too, so that when we open up the Magic Iris, it's all colored in with that blue-green color for the background. Okay, here we go. Now I see I have made a mistake. So what I did is I'm going to leave the mistake aside for now, and I'm just going to work on my background, or the bottom part of the Magic Iris slider. And I am just going to put the little pieces of the fortune cookie on either side of the fortune. And I added in that circle just so I know exactly where to put my little images, so that when the magic slider opens, it can open in the right spot. Okay, so I am just going to pick up the tabs here, and I used adhesive tape runner so it comes up really nice and easily. And I'm just going to pull off that well, actually, I'm not going to pull the tab off. I'm just going to cut the edge off, and I'm going to add a new tab. So I thought it was a little too risky to pull off that tab. So I'm just going to add a tab in the spot where I need it, which is to the left of the fortune cookie. And now I've done that, and I've fixed the matter, and we're all good to go. So pretty easy fix there for our magic slider card. I'm going to add the arrow decoration for the pull tab, and I just cut off the edge. Now I'm going to line everything up again, and I'm going to put adhesive just on these little tabs here and attach it to the front of our card base, being careful to line up that little arrow so it sits in the little slot just perfectly. And there we have it. So that looks good. It's working. Everything's moving nice and smoothly. And now we can move on to attaching our card panel to our card base. So I am taking 2 layers of foam tape here, and I'm being sure that we don't want to add any foam tape in the way of that little pull tab lever. So I'm going to pull the lever over to the right so that when I add tape on the side of it, that I make sure not to cover it up. And then I'm going to do it the same way on the other side to make sure that that lever is free and clear. And then I'm going to pull the adhesive off and then just line everything up just so. And I always attach my magic irises when they are in the open position so I can see and make sure that my window, the image in the window, you can see it clearly. And then we're going to add our little decorations to the front of the card. And I'm popping up a bunch of them on 1 layer of foam tape just to give the card a little bit of dimension and just to make things nice and fun. For that little big sushi roll in the front, I think I put 2 layers of foam tape on that one. And the soy sauce, I think I attached it just directly to the card base. So images towards the back, they go directly on the card base, and then anything that's kind of in the forefront of the seam, I popped it up on either 1 or 2 layers of foam tape, depending on how close it is to us in the scene. And that's it. So here is our Soy Happy For You birthday card. I just love that. I love that it looks like the fortune cookie is cracking open. I actually got this idea from one of the people on the design team at Fawn. They had posted a card like this where the fortune cookie kind of cracks open, and I thought it was so wonderful that I had to make my own. And that's all I have for you today, everyone. I'm wishing everyone health and safety for you and your families. I wish you the best during this time, and I will continue to make videos. So I will see you again soon in the next video.